Yeah, confidence. Obviously, it sounds like you guys are implementing a lot of the mental side into your coaching, which is cool to see. Kind of transitioning to my next question. So, we always talk about how busy a college athlete can be during season, and I know that each region has its own challenges with travel and um, court time, practice time. But if you were to paint a picture of the day in the life of a college athlete during season, let's say on a game day, how does that look? What does my schedule look like? Do I have time for classwork? How do I fit everything in for one day? Because it sounds like there's a lot.
Yeah. Oh, well, there is. And the one thing that I do like about my journey from coaching is, starting at those bottom levels and coming all the way up, I did have to work myself up. And one thing I prided myself on was, being a guy that was involved with the education side of it. Um, for example, when I was a G at Hofstra, I would check and make sure the guys would go to class and things like that. So I do have a love and understand that all those things do add up to the same thing. The same person who's late for class is the same person going to be late in your help defense. Um, but a day in the life, and again, that's why we always go back to, knowing who you are when you're choosing these schools and choosing your coaches that you're going to go play for, or the schools that you're going to go represent is what are you going to want to get out of it? Division 1 and Division 2 is night and day when it comes to certain game day stuff and things like that. Division 1, you're having a full-on meals, you're having training tables, you're doing film sessions, you're sprinkling your classes in throughout that day. So you might wake up at 8 in the morning, go get your breakfast because you can't play later at your best ability without doing those things from a nutritional standpoint. You might have to go to a class or two, then skip on over to the gym, watch our film, go through our scouting report, go back to class for a class or two, and then we'll have training table always 3.5, 4 hours before the game. So that way you could fully digest. And then some guys might even have a class from training table. You might go training table, class, and actually have the game. This then, as Chris and I have been talking about, goes all the way back to that mental side. You've now had a little bit of a roller coaster of a day. And now can you truly lock in for that cause and the love that you have for the game of basketball? So on a typical day, you could end up maybe on a game day, have 3 classes, be responsible to know your scouting report for the game later that night, your assignments, what plays we might be looking to attack offensively. If you're really taking it to higher, another levels is what is your guy that you're probably going to be guarding most of the time like to do. And then you might have to then go run and go to a psychology class or whatever your major is. And then we do things as a team, so the team meals. But then also, we don't want to get pulled away from just the academics. The coaches and the support staff, like my roommate Colin Curtin used to be the director of basketball operations and now assistant coach at Hofstra. They're very on top of when these guys have classes. We know when to schedule these things. Guys, don't be in class during these times so that it does flow for the most part for them. We don't want guys during training table, a guy, is skipping this for that and vice versa. So, at Division 1, you have academic coordinators who really help navigate the players through how to schedule, when to schedule. And then for a Division 2 game day, I would say the little difference that I've known, besides the stuff we spoke about earlier, is also Division 2 is more so how much you want to really put in. For example, if you're at a Division 2, one of our players, though, was really like he gets the bigger picture. He understands he's not going to play professional basketball. He gets his extra shots up. He was our best player at practice, gave all the effort. But when it's time to go do other things, he would want to go spend time with his girlfriend or go to New York City, since we're very close to New York City, and do some touristy stuff because he was originally from Argentina. So I'd say the difference in Division 1 and Division 2 from what I've seen is we want our guys to treat it like a Division 1 level. But if they see things that are more important to them in the grand scheme of life, then their day-to-day will be different. In the Division 1 ranks, I'd say the higher you go up, the even more structured and diligent everything is. And then as you're with us, you're going to have class. If we have shoot around and you have a class where, like, we're not pulling people from anything. We don't leave road trips. Like sometimes in Division 1, your day-to-day might be you're going to 4 classes, then we're hopping on the bus, going to the airport, traveling overnight, playing that game, flying back, getting back at 2 in the morning, and then you still have to go to that 9 a.m. class. And again, last thing I'll say with that, to bring up Justin Wright Foreman, is I would challenge those guys. I love checking those classes after those weird road trips. And guys like Justin and DeJour and some of those players that were there towards the end of my Hofstra career would always be at that next class. So that goes, and that's why those guys are getting the success they want on the court, because they're able to handle that day to day with the right character. And I think they bring their competitive spirit into the academics as well. Like Coach GAJ doesn't think I'm going to be at class at 9 because we got back at 2. I'm going to be there. And so, and that's what you were saying, is that stuff then helps us conquer the things in life outside of basketball as well.
Yeah, it really prepares you for having a full-time job, because being a college athlete is kind of like a full-time job. And I heard someone say that if it is, it's one of the best jobs you can have, because you're playing a sport you love and representing an institution, and making some great friends along the way. So yeah, it kind of going back to that commitment, I feel like the more you kind of have on your plate, I feel like the more it sounds cliche, but more you're able to manage your schedule, because you don't have any fillers. You don't have any time to really procrastinate. So I know I was always more motivated and always was able to get my schoolwork done if I was playing a sport. And I think that it kind of keeps the structure. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And you know what, as coaches too, and it's funny that you bring it up like that. And that's what I was saying, especially when I was, the way we try to do it is we try to make the guys busy as well too, because we've seen that you would be more successful. So it's like, okay, if we could plan a practice now and 11 of our 12 guys have class from here to here, let's do it then instead. And that way their day flows. So you're exactly right. And those are the teams that do well too, is when everyone's thinking of all those little things. So yeah.
For sure. Well, I want